I'm Ray Ritchie, and I'm a tech analyst.
I'm Georgia Dowd. I'm a psychotherapist.
And you're playing Pokemon again while we're trying to record.
I don't know what you're talking about. I deny everything.
You quit for so long, and now you're back.
I know. They pulled me back in.
Yeah, I got frustrated because it seemed like they were just adding things that were so tedious to make you do them, and it was like the opposite of retention for me. It's like, how can we make this game more miserable so that you do it less? It's not bad enough you're never going to get a shiny. It's not bad enough that you're going to have to do like 100 of these tasks just to level up. We're going to make it more tedious.
Well, what they want to do is they don't want to give you all of the treats very quickly, right? So they want you to feel like you've earned them. So after a while, if getting everything is easy, you turn off the game very quickly. And so what ends up happening is some people, the type A completionists, will play the game for maybe now 8 hours because they have to get everything done. You, which maybe you were the casual person that played it, maybe play it for 30 minutes.
They broke me. So initially when they first did items where you had to get special evolution items and you only got them every so many spins, I did everything. I was writing for iMore at the time, so it was a business incentive to do it. But I was relentless. I went downtown to spin more stops until I got those items because it was ultimately under my control. If I put in more effort, I'd be rewarded. Then they did the first shiny event, and I played for days. I played until the last possible second, and I didn't get one.
I remember.
Because it was they used random number generation to determine everything. And unlike the mainline games, there's no alternate mechanic. Like in the mainline games, you can you can catch only the same Pokemon to increase your odds of getting a shiny. And when I realized that, I hit learned helplessness. Right. And I'm like, no matter how much I play, there's a chance I won't get it, so it's not worth putting that much effort in anymore.
Okay, but for them, on the gaming side, you being a more casual gamer, you weren't at a time, but you've become the more casual gamer, it's still a net win for them because they get some people that will spend more money, spend more time. And so I don't want to say that they don't care that they've lost you.
But they don't care they lost me.
But it probably still ends up more profitable for them because if it wasn't more profitable, they would switch it.
I just think it's bad game design. And we've talked about this before. Game design is very similar to casino design, where the job is to keep you playing for as long as possible, and they do that by sometimes dynamically increasing or decreasing difficulty. Like if you're going too fast, they'll increase the challenge. If you're going too slow, they'll lower the challenge. It's like the casino never wants you to see the outdoors because it'll remind you the game never wants you to put it down in frustration because it'll be a while before you pick it up. And they don't care. They will stick to randomness no matter what.
But what they end up looking at is the cost versus the benefit. If in the end they still make a net profit, then they lose 10%, 20% of people, but they gain 40% of the other people that might be the hardcore people that spend more money because of this. They're going to keep on going. And so, though it might make some people feel really angry and frustrated, if there isn't a mass of people that are making an exodus, they're still going to keep on doing what they're doing to keep you there, even if it becomes a job, which is
May I offer an alternate theory?
Yes.
So my theory is this. Niantic, the company that makes Pokemon Go, are not a gaming company. They were originally the Google Maps team, and they got involved in that whole Google stealing data scandal, and they were sort of sacrificed, but they were paid off. Like Google has this bad history, and I want to get into this now, this bad history of paying off people to deal with publicity problems. And that was the money that let them make Niantic. So they were a mapping team who wanted to start bringing real-world augmented reality. So my feeling is they are moderately interested in game mechanics at best, but they have a puritanical religious fixation with the science of random numbers and augmented reality. And they don't want to go off of that, even if it would be better for the game, because it would interfere with the math of it.
Fair, and probably the data that's there might be worth more than the people that are playing the game.
Well, retention always, typically it's easier to keep a customer than it is to acquire a new one.
Yes.
And the numbers now, they're making a lot of money because they're better. There's these phases of business where in the beginning you're growing so much, you're growing by adding more customers, but eventually you reach a natural limit of customers, and so the only way to grow is to take more from those customers.
Yes.
So instead of getting every new customer gives you $100, how do I get $200 from every customer?
Right.
And I feel like that's the stage we're in with remote raid passes, but you can only buy them.
Yeah.
And so they're at the stage of exploiting more of existing customers rather than growing. And I think if they modified the rules a bit, they wouldn't they're supposedly adding this new game feature where you'll be rewarded for bringing people back to the game, to get your friends to start playing again. Rather than that, I think it would behoove them to figure out why so many people leave and make the game actually more sticky.
Yes, and more enjoyable to be able to play. Yeah.
This wasn't even a topic. I just got off on a diatribe.
I think that this is the really interesting thing about game mechanics, but also the reason that we will play a game or not play a game, right? Like there's certain things, like I like catching new things and looking through them, and I haven't played in so long. Every Pokemon is new right now. And
Your
I'm all
kids
excited.
have said that. They don't like playing anymore because nothing is new, and for you, everything is new, so
Everything
they like
is new.
playing
So
on your
it's a little
account.
bit, that primal need of gathering, searching, and finding something and being excited about it.
Yeah, that little dopamine reward hit when it says
those
new.
are really cool. Catching the egg that Rene does not have. That was very exciting for me.
I didn't even know about it. I stopped paying attention. I didn't even know about it. I was so
was a
put
red
off.
egg. It was a red
it was a
egg.
red
You
egg.
didn't know.
But you said this before in discussions about gaming that, and we talked about this a long time ago with in-app purchases, people will not pay $10 for a game, but we will pay $100 to have a better looking farm than our friend.
Yes.
As we care about instant gratification and ego gratification.
Yes, it's the status on the hierarchy, right? You want to be looked at by everyone else as better than.
Yes.
And so we will spend money to be able to do that and feel quite good about that. And the interesting part about like buying clothing or a skin, I totally get that. Like it's not any benefit. It doesn't actually help me play any better.
An emote.
But I look better.
I'm doing the floss.
That's not the floss. That is not flossing. That wasn't a floss.
That's the grumpy floss.
I don't think so.
And
I
do
don't
the
think
Roger.
that's a thing. No, don't.
Cabbage patch. Can't touch this.
But we want that, even though it doesn't help the game mechanics at all. So things that get us better in the
ego.
game, that will like whatever, kill more people, look better, anything that increases our rank on the hierarchy works out really well, even if it doesn't help in any other area. And I have done that. I have bought things that are just superficial.
I have
I'm fine with
three
that.
lucky, shiny, 100% Pokemon, and I make them my buddies just so people will see them, not even because it helps me get the rewards faster.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. If I have something that no one else has, then I place it as my pet, or we stick it onto a gym, just so that I can say I have this, even though it won't be good, because I want everyone else to be like, oh my God. And I like that. I enjoy that, because I don't play very much, but like Rene might have played my account, so I get the secondary benefit.
For raid, yeah. Sometimes your kids and I don't have enoes people for raids.
Yeah,
so
yeah. So
and you won't join us.
I get taken along.
Yeah, you won't join us, so one of us will grab your phone.
Yeah.
And this, like I said, this isn't even a topic. Today we're talking about Apple going to war with a leaker. We are talking about whether technology can be helpful, harmful, or both in terms of living a better life. Mm-hmm. And for our bonus topic, well, you'll just have to tune into Nebula to see.
That's you'll have to see.
We could have made this a bonus topic, but it was spur of the moment.
It was spur of the moment, yeah.
All right, but if you want to know more about game mechanics, let us know.
Yeah.
I find them endlessly fascinating because they really are like hacking the human programming to get people to. It's like an exploit. Almost.
Yeah, I at some point I think anyways, I'll bring up my topic of why characters look so dead. I'm definitely going to do a psychology of video games. Yes. Why characters look so dead.
Yeah.
Online virtual AI.
I would just love to know this, why I'm compelled to play them so damn always.
Okay, I'll go through it.
All right, so this is the podcast where we talk about.
Oh, we didn't even do that yet. We didn't even do it yet. Oh my God, yes. This is the podcast where we talk about the intersection of technology and psychology, such as Microsoft,
Apple, Google, Facebook, and how they affect our culture and our lives. At least, or if we talk about George's Pokemon fixation, one of the two.
You just like that to bug me about it.
Well, because it's not Candy Crush. It's something new and unusual.
That's true.
It was like my last digression, but it was funny when we could still travel before the world started ending. I would always walk down the aisle in airplanes and see people playing Candy Crush on iPad Pros. Like so big. It was the world's biggest Candy Crush machines.
Yes, there's a lot of, again, it's just soothing, relaxing, mindless kind of stuff. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk. So
I used to have a great how-to on that.
Yeah, I think you still do. I think it's still popular.
It's still it's one of the top. If you look for it, it's still
Candy
up there.
Crush. Yeah, how to cheat at Candy Crush.
Yeah, tips and tricks.
So Apple has filed a lawsuit against a leaker, and by leaker, there's some people get this definition wrong, but people who publish videos and articles about Apple news, they aren't leakers. They're reporters. So like John Prosser, Mark Gurman. Guo Mingqi, they're all reporting.
Yes.
The people in the companies and supply chain who are giving them information, those are the leakers. So this was somebody who worked in materials design at
Who's
Apple.
already signed a non-disclosure.
Well, he's like a full-on Apple Incorporated employee. Like he worked on the Mighty Mouse, the MacBook, the Touch Bar,
Things
the
that
Butterfly.
did so well for Apple.
Oh, one of the comments in my video, I did a video about this yesterday. I did a dramatic reading of the lawsuit because it wasn't written like in legal terms at all. Like it felt to me like, like one of Steve Jobs' early cadre wrote it.
Right.
Because it was so personal. Like the language was so non-legal.
Yeah.
But one of the comments was, he worked on the Mighty Mouse, the Touch Bar, the Butterfly keyboard, and a couple of things. It goes, he's not a leaker, he's a criminal. Well played.
Well played.
I think that was Armand
Nicely
Doucet,
said.
I believe. I might be getting the name wrong. I apologize if I am.
Yeah. Great
But
comment.
yeah, so Apple basically alleges, and all this is alleged because it's just a lawsuit. As far as we know, there's no criminal charges. There's not been any verdicts, no finding of facts.
Yes.
It's all alleged.
It's really hard to.
Well, as we'll see, that these were not master criminals either, which is what part of what makes it so funny. But I'm going to give you the gist because I'm interested in the psychology here. So the gist is that he was talking to a reporter, and the reporter is not identified. It sounds like it's a trade publication reporter, like not a YouTuber, not a podcaster, but someone who writes for traditional media, and in the United States. Doesn't sound like it's anybody in Asia or anything. So big business publications or internet publications, and they were talking for a while, back and forth, because people at Apple often get approached. And we've talked about psychology of leakers in a previous video, but this one specifically was interesting because he'd invested in a couple startups, and he'd invested $500,000 in a startup that made tile-like trackers. And then he saw a rumor, we presume on 9to5Mac, because it was around that period where 9to5Mac saw strings in iOS that was talking about the new Find My network and a new tiles-like product. And apparently, according to Apple's lawsuit, he reached out to this reporter because in a profanity-strewn way, because he was upset that Apple would enter a market that would hurt a startup that he was invested in. And I'm always interested in the excuses we make because, like you said, we sign NDAs.
Yep.
We know a certain behavior is wrong.
Yes.
But human brains are endlessly good at rationalizing our behavior, making excuses, saying why we're victims and justified. And what do you think goes through people's minds when they move from loyal company employee to, oh no, damn, you ain't doing this, and I'm calling a reporter.
Right. So first is he broke the basic rule of how you deal when you are upset. And the rule is the same way if you were dealing with a wild animal, because that part of our brain, it's true. No.
Okay.
No time.
Like a small Wolverine, or are you talking about a feral dog?
Are you kidding? We cannot take on
an
a
Ewok?
Wolverine. I'm sorry. We could totally take on an Ewok. I'm sorry.
Okay.
They are puntable creatures, but we can't take on a Wolverine. Wild animal is no talk, no touch, no eye contact. So what he did, don't do that. Don't do that. If you feel your body going like boom, 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 like your heart is racing, you're angry, you're frustrated, you don't call anyone, you don't text, you don't email, do nothing.
What
I'm
about
going to
tweet?
say it
Like, do you
again.
instantly
Don't tweet.
Because people tweet so much when they're angry.
Don't tweet. Some people need to have social media, their accounts taken away from them. They need curators.
Or Jim Dalrymple says their keyboard's taken away.
They'll find something else. They'll use their phone. No, they need to have all tech. They need to have a kill switch
Especially
on this.
if you're a CEO.
No matter who you are, let's be honest, this comes back 10 years later to haunt you. So when you are upset, you don't send anything. Just don't do anything.
So what I do is I type it, then I delete it.
Don't even type.
Okay.
You know what?
Just by accident.
You could, because by mistake, you might send it.
Yeah.
You might say, you know what, I'm sending it anyways.
That's
because
true.
in that moment, our limbic system, the part that is that primal, it's smooth. You know how they talk about koalas, how koalas are non-intelligent? Because they have just smooth, flat brains. Like out of all creatures, they can't understand an eucalyptus, which is the only food that it eats. If it's on the ground, they cannot recognize it. So they could starve to death filled with eucalyptus leaves all around them. That part of our brain is flat, unintelligent, about the intelligence of a 3-year-old. When we get upset, frustrated, angry enough, it shuts off our working memory. So now we end up we become these these, and if you've ever seen koalas attack, they're actually vicious. They look all cute, but then they become
they have
demon
claws.
monsters.
They're like Lady Deathstrike.
They're scary, scary creatures.
Yeah.
They're carrying around STDs like these.
What?
Oh yeah, no. Almost all koalas have chlamydia.
Oh, God.
Not even kidding. How did they catch it?
I don't want to know.
I'm sorry, I'm not. Where did this
podcast go?
Turn this podcast
around. We're driving home right now.
So, don't let that part of your brain drive the rest of you.
Chlamydia koalas is going to be the title of my episode.
I love it. Please.
And we'll be demonetized.
Put that
I'm not
up.
going to do it. We'll be demonetized so fast.
That's fine. It won't harm us at all.
Clap for koalas. Hashtag.
And clap.
Hashtag clap for koalas. Don't do it. Please don't do that.
How many people are going to...
This podcast is the worst.
This is what I'm going to be reading all the comments.
This is a one-star review episode podcast.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get a whole bunch of angry...
Yeah.
I was listening to this podcast in the car with my children.
We'll quickly change the name.
And I have to...
It'll be a different podcast by morning.
I have to explain.
All right, so sorry.
Sorry.
You become wild animals when you're angry.
Yeah. It shuts off that part of your brain, and you just go limbic, which you're just not intelligent. And it sounds like that's what happened to this person, is that they vented off, they reached out because they felt attacked.
Well, they wanted them investigated. They're like, you need to find out about this rumor for me. And the reporter's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I'm going to need something from you.
And in the end, they became the story. And
well, yeah, because the reporter came back and said, well, I need you to find out about Project X, which we kind of think is the AR and VR project, because that, following the timeline, that's the big Apple secret story that came out.
Right.
So it became quid pro quo, Mr. Powers.
Yes. So, yeah. So they did that.
So that made him vulnerable. Being angry, he set himself up for future exploitation.
And, like... It's like when we have beer goggles, or we're not, like, it just shuts off the prefrontal cortex.
Yeah.
It shuts off the part of your brain that deals with consequences to actions. So we just act. And that's why having, like they say, the best way to make sure that you don't use a gun or a knife on someone is make sure it's not close to you when you're really angry. Well, in most cases, we're not burned by the gun or the knife. It's our phone that is our downfall.
Phones are forever.
When we are upset, we're going to send something out, and if you're really famous, you have enough people that someone screenshotted it, you can't even delete it. It's there forever. And like court, it can only be used to condemn you. You send out 1,000 sweet, wonderful, heart-filled tweets, and then you have one moment of anger, frustration. Like, we've all been there, but we're just not famous enough that anyone cares to catch us in it.
Most of us have been there.
You know, Rene has never. But I definitely have. I'm Scottish. I can totally.
But see, the part of this where like, because this isn't about social media, but they use, like, he used his Apple-owned and managed devices to do it. So Apple, but like those are. Apple can go into those devices. It's like, that's where I said it's not a master criminal. It's like, didn't even have a burner phone, didn't conduct this off-band. It's like opening up my Apple iPhone where all my messages are recorded and sending you this stuff.
And I'm going to attack Apple, the people that have access to,
So they're just going through his stuff and seeing all the things that he did.
But I think that they thought that it would be private when they're talking to a reporter who reports on leaks.
On your burner phone. Not that I'm giving you instructions, but on your burner phone, in your Signal account, off-band, like things that...
But still, you're talking to someone real life that could be recording this.
Yes.
Like,
totally true.
Like, you can't expect someone that already leaks other stuff and they're going to be loyal to you. Like, it just doesn't make any logical sense, but I don't think that they were in a logical place.
No.
And probably afterwards, when they realized their faux pas, they probably felt horrified.
See, I don't know, because there's an aspect of utter shamelessness to this that I find intriguing.
Okay.
So he agreed to get information about Project X, and then he ultimately resigned from Apple in late 2019. But as he resigned, the reporter asked, can you get me those papers? And he's like, yeah, I'll try. And then he goes to a meeting about Project X after he's resigned, when his boss told him not to, because he wanted to get more information. After he resigned, he asked for access to be disclosed on additional secret projects that he had no business reason for. And then the night that he was leaving, he used his Apple ID to log into the network and download more. There's like, I was joking in my video, the size of the never mind the size of the AirPods on this guy. These are like full-on HomePod Mac Pro sized, like, shamelessness and what he was willing to do to get information, maybe just for this reporter, maybe for the new company he was going to, which is a vendor that sells to Apple, which is crazy pants to me as well. Just Georgia, there's like shameless turtles all the way down.
Shameless turtles.
Shameless turtles.
I don't think that's a thing.
They're out of their shell.
Don't de-shell.
So again, like, it's like those people who steal office supplies. They say like that's one of the biggest crimes because they feel like the company owes them something.
Right.
And this to me has that, like, he felt jilted maybe, or in some way created a situation where he felt like he was entitled to do this.
Right. And if you, like how they talk about how, the more comfortable you get with someone, it breeds contempt.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you work for a company, you've given all of these things, they're coming after what you believe is your rightfully owned piece. It can become messy. But the other piece to this is how angry and visceral the court documents were also. This seemed personal also
Yes.
on Apple's side.
But they
which
do
is
that.
another...
Like, remember the Android thing? Android is trying to destroy. Like, I think that's a very Steve Jobs thing about Apple.
Well, and we've had Facebook do the same. Like, we've had other companies do it, but Apple recently, like,
Will
not
inflict
Steve
pain on Apple.
Jobs.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs, let's just say it. He was his own worst enemy. He would say stuff that you probably shouldn't say in a time when people didn't really call you out on it, but he'd get angry. He went shutting off the entire,
Turn off your MiFis.
if you don't turn off your Wi-Fi,
Johnny, they're not
I'm
turning off your
stopping.
MiFis. I'm so angry about this,
The
Johnny.
entire conference is going to end.
I'm turning this conference around right now.
Which we knew and expected, but Apple since then has been much more controlled in their reactions.
Yes.
But they also seemed quite viscerally upset by the betrayal,
Yes.
which again shocks me in that they took this personally. Like, this was... And
Is it personally, or are they trying to send a message because they've had issues with leakers like recently?
Okay, so personally, and I'll tell you why I believe it's personally. Because if they just wanted to send a message, a proper legal doc that just
Would be
came
like
out
chilling.
with lawyer speak
Yeah.
would be doing it. Just by trying to prosecute someone, other people will say, maybe I don't want to do that,
Yeah.
right? It's
Or
kind of like the
they'll weigh
Vlad
it
the
differently,
Impaler way of dealing with discussion, and
put everyone's head on a spike, and
yeah,
they'll
and
be
maybe
less,
other people will be like,
people
what,
won't
that
wear their
doesn't
heads so
look great.
frivolously.
Yes, that we won't deal with that. But just taking it to court would have made an example
Yes.
to everyone else that wants to break their NDA, talk to reporters. But the language that they used,
reprehensible.
how horrible. The language that they used seemed very casual, visceral, and angry, which I think actually goes against their point. Like, it makes them look less like a calm, calculated, company, and more like, this is personal, I want to go after you, and I was hurt.
Yeah, well, they believe
Which
that it's
does
ongoing, that he's still
not-
giving that he still
Fair.
has this information, and they want it back.
Fair, but I think that Apple as a company should be much more careful in curating what comes out from them, because, like, I don't know, when you deal with, like, Epic, and we deal with Facebook and these visceral, angry responses, it makes me think less of the company because they're not in control. And anyone that is not in control makes me question their judgment.
Was it written to get, because like I did a dramatic reading of it. It was like, and I wouldn't do that of a normal lawsuit because they're too boring.
Yes.
Was it maybe designed to get attention like that, to be more shareable and sociable in a more social media world?
Maybe. I don't know if, like, again, court cases get only so much traction, and I don't.
Like, was
I
it a
don't
message to
know,
the media?
to try to get more people to be able to cover it?
Yeah, or not cover it, but to be interested in it, so that that message of we'll come after you is further spread.
I don't know, because I don't know if Apple really likes the idea of them looking like they're an emotional, not really in control company. I don't know if that benefits them. For a message for, how many people will actually leak. They're already in the company. This has already gone through. There's probably been a message to everyone that works.
Like, it was like all of our teams work so hard. They give up nights and weekends, and they do it for the surprise and delight of our customers. And when people leak features, like, that's not something you'd normally put in a...
That's what I think, though. I think that it was aimed at the workers of Apple.
Yeah.
Like, specifically at them, which that came out and would go out to everyone already. So that I do believe.
Well, they did a memo last time about
Yes.
the leaks and people they fired, and then the person who leaked the stuff that got the people fired leaked the memo about the people getting fired.
But that does send a chilling effect to everyone else that's working there. But to put it also in the court case,
Like, viscerally.
I don't know if that actually benefits Apple.
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's only their company members that they really want to make sure listen to this and deal with it. And the people that report on it, this actually benefits them greatly. People are like, ooh, I want to find out what was leaked. What's the information? This is really interesting. It gives a little bit of the Streisand effect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly dramatic. Like it is way more dramatic than these things usually are, because Apple has gone through these lawsuits before. Like they had someone, I believe, who left the company's automation, like their autonomous driving, and went to another company and was accused of bringing secrets, and they just filed lawsuits. You know, it didn't get anywhere nearly this attention.
No, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
See where it ends.
Yeah. All right. So, I don't know how to deal with these things, Georgia, but I've found that there is a series of online tips that I'm starting to go through that were published on a YouTube channel you might be familiar with.
Might be familiar.
And I have issues with them. And I'm going to use this as a forum to air my grievances,
Go ahead.
even though it's not Festivus. So can you explain what you're doing first?
Okay, so I'm doing a 30-day, beat anxiety's tail challenge just to help us live better. And it's like a daily 20 to 30 seconds. And we go through different tips of things that we can do to live better, live less anxiety-filled lives.
Did you say beat anxiety's tail because you didn't want to say kick anxiety's ass?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
All right. Just wanted to make sure people
because
understood.
this is forever.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and today's one is...
it's not just today. It's the entire series I have issue with.
Okay.
So, like, today's one is especially egregious because you're telling me to put down my tech for a minute.
Right. Do that right after
And
the podcast,
you're not my tech
though.
dad.
In this case, I am.
All right. So here's the part where I think as confused is the wrong word, conflicted maybe. I'm not sure. You can tell me, because we're getting so many messages now about, like, on one hand, we're getting more and more products like Fitbits and Apple Watches and sleep trackers and all the stuff that's quantitative life, which just means that they're tracking data about our existence in the hopes that we can use that data to make more informed decisions.
Right.
But at the same time, especially in 2020 and going into 2021, we're spending so much time with our technology, and some of that interferes. Like, I have a sleep app on my watch and my phone, but if I use my watch and my phone, I'm clearly not sleeping, and maybe it can affect my sleep quality. And put down technology. Like, that's a tip that I'm watching on YouTube to tell me to put. Like, how do I reconcile, or what is the goal of this, or how do I balance these things?
I think that if you use this for information and for learning, I think technology can be very beneficial. At a certain level, you can go through even information overload, or what are you reading? Does it make your life, how do you feel? What does it do? And are you actually was that an anxiety breath, or are you just tired? You haven't been sleeping enough.
I know.
Didn't do the sleep one.
I posted my sleep thing. It was ridiculous.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5. Although it said that I was sleeping longer than I was in bed, and that confused a lot of people. And I just think the data was bad because a couple nights my watch ran out of battery.
Oh, so just guesstimated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to be able to be aware of it. So I think that technology can be very beneficial. I think that technology, if we took the good and the bad, technology has made our lives better. I think that it's still a net positive.
But if I had the self-control, maybe I wouldn't need the technology.
Well, the problem is that the technology hits our primal level. We are become more and more addicted to technology, and technology in a lot of ways pre-chews our food for us.
Yes.
Which we think will give us more time. And theoretically it should, right? Like, if you're, learning about something, it's often easier to learn through a video or an animation or seeing something than it is from reading a textbook. Often that is a faster, more efficient method of dealing with it, right? And that's why I'm doing these little tiny short tips. It's like, who couldn't spend 20 seconds in their day to do one thing? So hopefully a lot of people can do just one thing to make their life better.
Just to be clear, they're on your YouTube channel and your Instagram.
Yes.
Because like me, you're using Instagram and Pokemon again.
Yeah. Well,
We can talk about that after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll kind of go through the push and the pull of what that happens.
What's worse for me is that they're also gamified in a way that makes it more likely for me to use them, but I feel like that's just feeding into my tech addiction in general.
Yes. And that's the problem, is that it creates this dopamine. We get a little bit of a dopamine hit when we read a story that
data.
makes us...
I have charts. I have pie graphs.
But what the cost is that you're not listening to your body, right? Like, that's the piece that I really hate about technology, is that, and I have people tell me this all the time. They go, well, my phone told me that I slept 8 hours, so I should be feeling okay.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't care.
I feel worse.
I don't care. How do you feel when you wake up?
That's
Are
smart.
you rested? Are you happy? Is your brain feeling calm and you can retrieve and pull information effortlessly? If not, something is not okay. And that's the piece, is that we're starting, these become like the gateway drug, that they become like our parents for us. So we don't listen to ourselves now.
No.
It's my phone told me to go to sleep. My
Yes.
phone told me to go and
To wake up,
exercise.
my
It
meeting,
tells me when
yeah.
I should stand up or I should drink more water. And that bothers the hell out of me, because I'm like, now we're not even listening to our own body. It's like when our parents, I'm going to go on a small diatribe.
But we're ignoring our bodies at the same time.
It's like when we're young, our parents now make us force feed us to eat. Don't do that to your children. They force feed us to eat, so we don't listen to our body and we just finish what's on the plate. And then later in life, we have to say, oh, don't eat this. Are you hungry to eat that? But we've already trained out that skill. And if that part of your brain is not used, it will atrophy and die. Not literally, but figuratively, yes. So we need to
My
rewire.
phone just told me to drink water. Sorry. I'm listening, but my phone told me to drink water.
You planned that.
No.
And that bothers me. So I think that it's supposed to be there to be helpful, but first thing we should do is actually just, am I thirsty? People often have lost the thought of I'm thirsty or hungry.
So I get thirsty, but then I'm just going to finish this thing, and that I'm going to finish this thing ends up being 3 hours later.
Well, let's say it, because technology is so addicting.
Yes.
It's so much fun. And if you look on the studies with rats, right, they have like a little tiny electrode that went to their dopamine center, and then they had food and water next to them. And they pressed one button for food and water, which they need to survive, and they pressed another button for a dopamine hit. All the rats starved to death, happily hitting their dopamine hits. We're no different. We are on technology for way too long, and so we're doing much less than we should do. And we're forgetting about the basic structures of who we are as a person. And so that's why today's challenge, well, for those that are doing today's challenge, it's to put away your tech for a period of time and see what happens. Yeah, you're gonna be bored. Yeah, you're gonna go through some withdrawal. It's gonna feel a little weird. We feel naked with our technology, because now this has been as ubiquitous to who we are as a person, as your underwear or, whatever, a hat, I don't know, whatever you wear every day, it becomes part of our person. So that's a problem.
Yeah.
And I think that, parasitic relationship that we have with our tech needs to be cut. The other stuff I think is wonderful and great. If you're learning about things, expanding your brain, making your life better, trying something out, fabulous. But then you need to spend some time in the day where you are not using tech, or have
So-
tech on somewhere in the house.
Are you, I just want to make sure I understand this properly. Are you suggesting that our technology is simultaneously infantilizing us and then helicopter parenting us at the same time?
Yes,
Okay. I'm listening, see?
you are listening. You are listening.
So when
But
did
we
it
are
go
the
from-
ones that are doing this to ourselves. It's not really the tech that's doing it, it's us. The tech is, let's say they programmed it to make it as addictive as possible so that we stay on it because they want to make as much profit. Fair. But we're allowing it to.
Yeah, so so I look at them as tools, and I always feel like tools, and I'll spoil a little bit about my Nebula bonus topic in a second here, but like tools have no alignment. Like they're neutral, and
Yeah.
we can use them for good or for evil, for chaos or for law. And they're providing these tools. It's just like I used to remember every phone number, and I don't remember I don't remember my phone number anymore
No,
because
I'm
they're all
usually
in my
the one.
phone.
I'm usually the one that, because I still dial.
Yeah, you made a point of always dialing in phones because you
I dial.
didn't want to become reliant on your phone.
Okay, well, I'm not going to say that that's really why I did it. I was just, it was what I used to do, and so I'm very pattern oriented, so I just kept on doing what I do. But when people ask you for your phone number, I'm usually the one that says your phone number.
Yeah, I have no idea what my phone number
I'm
is. I have no idea what
faster
your
at
phone number
this.
is.
And I'm dyslexic with numbers, so like that's
I remember
a big
email
deal.
addresses now because you still have to see them when you put them into a mail program, like they're visible to you.
Right.
So I tend to remember those, or I remember enough that I can start typing them in to see the hint of the person.
Right.
Because the interface is different. This, it really is you just tap the person's face and it dials them. And that means I've let that go. And I don't know if that's bad or if that's just a hint at our cybernetic future, because like we have external cybernetics in our watches and phones now that'll eventually be, or
Internal
people say
cybernetics.
Google assisted memory too, because we don't
Yeah.
have to remember anything, we can just look it up. Which is great because we have access to more information at our fingertips than we ever had in libraries before. But it also means that we've given up a lot of the basic retention we used to have
Right.
before.
Well, it always, if we go through this as an apocalyptic journey, when the robot apocalypse comes over
Yes.
and we can't use our technology because all of the technology inside of us is hacked, the few people that actually know these skills that are essential life skills will be the ones that run the world.
The robot Siri, Georgia, we're in no danger.
Oh no!
We're
Even
in
I
no
have
danger.
my Neato vacuum cleaner, and it just
Yeah.
kept on cleaning the same 2 spots, and
Yeah.
we were like, it's still far away. And then we see big boy robot coming at us.
I used to believe for a hot minute that that whole thing about us being an organic bootloader for an artificial intelligence that would supplant and replace us, that was our great filter. Now I believe that unlike the dinosaurs, which were destroyed by a meteor from the heavens, we are going to go out in a blazing comet of our own stupidity.
Yeah. Yeah, but
We'll just become so helpless. So helpless.
Don't most people believe that? Like most movies?
They believe that it's always like some external force that's going to destroy us. I believe it really is our own stupidity.
Yeah, I've always thought it will be us.
We live in a time of unparalleled wonders, technology, information.
Yes.
And the anti-science movement has never been bigger.
Yes.
Like, we're just going to dumb ourselves into oblivion.
Yes, and we could feed everyone. We have enough food to be able to feed everyone.
Yeah, but
We
not force
don't.
feed them, because that would be helicopter parenting.
Right.
All right, so Georgia, if someone wants to, they should absolutely go to your channel. They should go to your Instagram or your YouTube, youtube.com/GeorgiaDow, Instagram.com/Georgia_Dow. Look at the daily challenges. I'm doing them. I'm posting what I'm doing on Twitter so that I can be part of the process. But how should we approach them, and how much tech should we or should we not be using to approach them?
Well, you want to see how addicted you are to your technology. So I would just say, like, one, look at how you feel after you use technology. Do you feel good in the day? The thing with technology is that not only does it make your perception of time smaller, so if you're on technology, it feels like time has kind of gone away from you. So spending less time on tech actually makes your day feel longer. You're probably going to be more creative. It's better for your brain.
Because you're so bored. It feels like it's taking forever. It's like, when can I use my tech again? When can I use my tech again?
Yes, but you'll go through that withdrawal, which is healthy for our brain, and we become more creative. We'll do other things. We'll do hobbies. People are doing less now. We have more access, yet we do less because we're filling all of our time not with a hobby or building something or learning a skill, but with mindlessly searching the web.
Yeah.
For another dopamine hit, and how many cat videos can you have? Like, I'll just say it, they're happy and wonderful, but how many cat videos can you say?
Well, if they're
in a
playing
day?
a piano, there's just never a limit.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. It's true. I understand that. So you want to see how you feel and then just cut it down by, I would just say everyone try out if you can go without tech for 15 minutes of purposeful behavior when you don't have anything else to do.
So the program in general, then, because you do an introduction on it, but it's like all of these are shorts. They're YouTube shorts or Instagram reels, and I think maybe they'll even be TikTok talks eventually.
Yeah.
How do you suggest we do them? Like,
start wherever
a little bit
you
every
want.
day?
Do one a day and then try that one out. And if
Okay.
you can do the other ones and add on to it, that's better. But if you start on, it doesn't really matter. If you start on day 7 and then go all the way through and then start day 1, 2, and 3,
and it's
afterwards.
stuff like eat healthier, get more sleep, go for a walk.
I tried to do things that would be almost effortless.
Okay.
And within 15 minutes of work. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. And I can't guarantee you, but I can. Your life will be better. These are things that will make your life better and have worked for thousands of other people. So start it today, and why not live better? Like, why play life on hard mode? Make your life better. Stop doing stupid stuff. Why do we do this to ourselves?
Because we're humans, and that's our great filter.
Exactly. So just
And
follow
no
along.
spoilers, but at some point we might find out about your juggling hobby.
You might find out about my juggling hobby.
Can't wait. So again, Georgia, where can people find all of this?
Georgia Dow / YouTube. I can do this. YouTube / Georgia Dow.
Yes,
That's
almost.
it. That's it. Was that? No, it's not.
Well, there's a .com in there.
Ah, damn, I was in. Or you can send me an email, georgia@westmounttherapy.com. And if you're dealing with anxiety and depression, anxiety-videos.com. Renee, where can people find out more about you?
YouTube.com/Rene Ritchie, where I do a dramatic reading of Apple's very dramatic
Very dramatic.
filing with
dramatic.
mood music and everything. I went through and I was looking for like crime drama music, and it's very like, the first one to me sounded very Doctor Strange themey, which I love, the theme from the Doctor Strange movie. And then the second one,
Did you start it out with like Law and Order?
no, but I do have a lot of, you didn't watch it yet?
I did. I watched it. I was just trying to.
No, there's a Law and Order reference in there. There's a couple dum-dums. But then I saw that like the other songs that suggested from the same composer were The Mole and The Tracking, and it all kind of fit together really perfectly.
Nice.
Yeah. So you can find that at youtube.com/Rene Ritchie, or me at twitter.com/Rene Ritchie. And if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please scroll to the bottom, leave a review, leave a rating. It helps more people find us because it gives Apple, it's all algorithms, it gives Apple a signal that you're interested in it, and then they try to find more people that are interested. And if you're watching on YouTube, please leave a comment. If you're going to stay with us for Nebula, we have a bonus topic. If you're not into Nebula yet, super easy to get started. Just go to curiositystream.com/Apple Talk. You can sign up there. I think it's like less than $15 a year, not even a month. I think like Netflix costs you $15 a month now. And you get Curiosity Stream, all their documentaries, all their series, plus all the Nebula videos, ad-free, sponsor-free, a lot of them with bonus content like this podcast every damn week. Can I say damn in a sponsor read?
I think we've said worse.
Okay, all right. Maybe we'll be held accountable soon enough. So just go there, sign up, and enjoy. And thank you so much for watching and for listening.